The image many have of married women is one of absolute dedication, constant happiness, and a perfectly balanced life. That family photo where everyone is smiling, the lovingly prepared breakfast, the social media posts showcasing moments of harmony. But is that the whole story? Today, we're going to talk about what no one dares to mention, the often shocking truth about the reality of married women. We're not here to generalize or create stereotypes. Every relationship is unique, and every woman lives her own story. The goal is to bring forth an honest conversation about what happens beyond appearances, so you can better understand the dynamics of your own relationship and perhaps identify patterns that deserve attention. Society has always created immense expectations for women in marriage. They should be exemplary wives, dedicated mothers, competent professionals, all while keeping the home in order and their appearance impeccable. It's as if they need to be superheroes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the most impressive part? Many manage to maintain this facade of perfection for years on end. Think about how many times you've observed couples in public where the wife seemed completely happy and fulfilled. That coworker's wife who always shows up to social events with a smile, singing praises about her husband. Or perhaps your own partner, who maintains an image of contentment and dedication in front of friends and family. But behind this social mask, what's really happening? The truth is, the reality of married women is much more complex and multifaceted than appearances suggest. It's not a black and white issue of total happiness or unhappiness. It's a spectrum of emotions, challenges, and moments that vary tremendously from one woman to another. Some are genuinely satisfied with their choices and relationships. Others live in a constant internal conflict between what they feel and what they show. There are those who feel deeply frustrated but don't find the courage or means to change their situation. And many transition between these different states throughout different phases of their marriage. Factors such as age, cultural background, duration of the relationship, family dynamics, and personal goals profoundly influence how each woman experiences marriage. A woman in her early 20s who recently got married faces completely different challenges than someone in her 40s with 2 decades of union. A woman raised in a traditional environment will have different perspectives than one who grew up in a more progressive context. One of the most revealing signs of dissatisfaction in marriage is a change in attention and interest in the partner. Remember that time when your wife or girlfriend was genuinely interested in your day, your stories, your opinions? When she made it a point to share quality time and showed authentic interest in your life? When this behavior changes drastically, it's a warning sign that deserves attention. We're not talking about normal mood swings or busy periods, but a consistent transformation in how she interacts with you. She seems distant, bored, or impatient during conversations. She constantly interrupts you or seems to have her mind elsewhere. She stopped asking about your work or interests. These could be indicators that something deeper is happening. There are several reasons for these changes. Stressful routines can drain the emotional energy needed to maintain meaningful connections. A lack of effective communication over time creates distance. Personal changes, new interests, recalibrated, life goals, personality evolutions can make what once seemed fascinating now appear mundane. Some women, after years of dedicating all their attention to their partner and family, begin to feel the need to direct that energy toward themselves, their own projects, and interests. This isn't necessarily negative, but requires a rebalancing in the dynamics of the relationship. The consequences of this shift in attention are significant for the couple. The partner may feel neglected or unappreciated. Emotional intimacy, the feeling of knowing and being known deeply by the other, begins to deteriorate. Meaningful conversations are replaced by superficial interactions about practical and logistical matters of daily life. A critical sign to watch for is defensive behavior regarding the relationship. Imagine you ask your partner how she's feeling in the marriage or mention that you've noticed changes in her behavior. How does she react? Many women who are experiencing internal conflicts about the relationship respond with excessive defensiveness. Everything is great. I don't know what you're talking about. You're imagining things. Don't start that conversation again. These responses may indicate that there are unresolved issues she's not ready or willing to face. This denial often stems from a deep internal conflict. On one hand, acknowledging problems in the relationship means facing difficult and potentially painful decisions. On the other, maintaining appearances allows her to stay in the comfort zone, even if it's not truly satisfying. It's like being stuck between an uncomfortable truth and a comfortable illusion. Difficulty in effective communication amplifies this problem. Many women have been socialized to prioritize harmony and avoid conflict at all costs. Expressing dissatisfaction or discontent may seem like an act of betrayal or ingratitude, especially if, on the surface, the relationship meets all the social expectations of success. This defensive behavior gradually erodes mutual trust. You begin to question whether you can believe what she says about her feelings. She, in turn, feels pressured and becomes even more resistant to truly open up. It's a cycle that, without intervention, tends to intensify over time. Another revealing sign is seeking attention outside the relationship. When emotional needs aren't being met within the marriage, it's natural to look to fill that void elsewhere. This can manifest in subtle or more obvious ways. Have you noticed your partner behaving differently in social situations? Perhaps she becomes more animated, more engaged, more present when interacting with others, especially with other men. Subtle flirting, more open body language, easier and more spontaneous laughter, seeking private conversations, all these behaviors may indicate an unmet need for validation and recognition. Social media has tremendously amplified this dynamic. The increasing number of likes, comments, and private messages provides a constant source of external attention and validation. A woman who feels invisible or undervalued at home may find the recognition she craves on digital platforms. It's important to differentiate between healthy social connections and behaviors that may compromise the relationship. Having friendships and social interactions is vital for anyone's well-being. The critical point is when these interactions become emotional substitutes for what should exist in the primary relationship, or when they cross intimacy boundaries that should be reserved for the partner. Changes in sexual behavior represent another significant indicator of shifts in the relationship dynamics. Physical intimacy is often a barometer of the couple's emotional health. When there's a drastic decrease in desire, interest, or participation in the sexual life, it usually reflects deeper challenges in the connection between partners. This reduction can manifest in various ways: frequent refusals, always being too tired, or having a headache, creating situations that prevent moments of intimacy, or simply participating in the sexual act in a mechanical and disconnected manner. It's as if the body is present, but the mind and emotions are elsewhere. In some cases, paradoxically, women who are dissatisfied in their relationships may seek sexual experiences outside the marriage. It's not just about seeking physical pleasure, but often an attempt to reconnect with parts of themselves they feel are lost or dormant in the marital routine. It's a search for passion, to feel desired, valued, and seen again as a complete woman, not just as a wife or mother. Open communication about sexual life is crucial, but also extremely challenging for many couples. Vulnerabilities, insecurities, past traumas, and unspoken expectations create significant barriers to this essential conversation. However, without this dialogue, partners are doomed to a cycle of misunderstandings and unmet needs. In the digital age, excessive use of phones and social media often highlights changes in relationship dynamics. Observe how your partner interacts with electronic devices. Is there an exaggerated protection of the phone? A password that's never shared? A screen turned away when you approach? Messages that are quickly deleted? Notifications silenced? Extreme anxiety or irritability when you're nearby while she's using her phone, or when you casually mention something related to her online activities, may indicate that there are aspects of her digital life she prefers to keep private. Defensive or disproportionate reactions when you express curiosity about who she's talking to are equally revealing. This need for digital privacy doesn't always indicate infidelity in the traditional sense. It may represent emotional connections she feels are missing in the primary relationship. Conversations where she can express thoughts and feelings she doesn't feel comfortable sharing at home, or simply personal space in a life where there might be little of that space. The challenge here is finding a balance between respecting individual privacy, which is legitimate and necessary even within a marriage, and maintaining the transparency and trust needed for a healthy relationship. When digital secrets begin to create walls between partners, it's time to examine what these behaviors are communicating about both partners' unmet needs. One of the most fascinating and complex aspects of married women's lives is the duality between public image and private reality. It's impressive how many manage to project an image of an exemplary and happy wife to the outside world while internally struggling with doubts, dissatisfaction, and deep-seated questions. On social media, at family events, and work meetings, the smile is there, displays of affection are there, stories about the wonderful husband and the perfect family life are there. But when the doors close and social masks fall away, the reality can be drastically different. This duality isn't necessarily born out of dishonesty or manipulation. It's often a survival strategy in a society that still harshly judges women who admit any degree of unhappiness or difficulty in their marriages. You have a good husband, a nice house, healthy kids. What are you complaining about? Is a common response that silences women trying to express their true experiences. Social expectations exert immense pressure on women's emotional health. The idea that a good wife should always be available, always understanding, always satisfied with her life, creates an impossible standard to authentically maintain. The result? Many women internalize these expectations, feeling inadequate or failed when they can't live up to this unrealistic ideal. The challenge of maintaining traditional roles while seeking personal fulfillment is another constant source of tension. How do you balance family responsibilities with professional ambitions? How do you honor commitments made while evolving as a person? How do you express needs and desires that might not align with the image you've built for yourself and others? Amid these challenges, many married women discover the vital importance of personal growth as a form of self-affirmation. Developing skills, seeking knowledge, engaging in meaningful projects, and cultivating talents beyond the roles of wife and mother becomes not just a desire, but a necessity for mental and emotional health. This personal development isn't, as some fear, a threat to the relationship. On the contrary, when supported and celebrated by the partner, it can bring new vitality and depth to the connection. A woman who feels fulfilled in various dimensions of her life has more to offer emotionally. She brings new perspectives, enthusiasm, and energy to the relationship. The challenge lies in finding a balance between personal life and family responsibilities. In many traditional marriages, the implicit expectation is that the woman consistently places the family's needs above her own. Any deviation from this pattern can be interpreted as selfishness or neglect. Redefining this dynamic requires honest communication and mutual adjustments in expectations. The pursuit of fulfillment beyond societal expectations is a path many married women are walking, even if silently. Discovering and honoring their own desires, talents, and dreams, regardless of prescribed social roles, becomes a journey of self-discovery and authenticity that can transform not just the woman, but the entire family system. Connections outside the primary relationship also play a crucial role in the emotional lives of married women. Intimate friendships, significant family relationships, mentors, support groups, all these connections offer different types of emotional nourishment that no single relationship, however strong, can fully provide. Especially relevant are deep female friendships, where many women find a safe space to express vulnerabilities, doubts, and experiences they might feel uncomfortable sharing with their partners. It's in these conversations that many find validation for their feelings, gain new perspectives on their challenges, and receive the necessary support to make difficult changes. Engaging in meaningful social activities, whether volunteer work, religious groups, book clubs, or any community based on shared interests, provides a sense of belonging and purpose that transcends family roles. These spaces allow the woman to be recognized for her contributions, ideas, and presence, not just for her relationship with her partner or children. However, it's important to distinguish between healthy external connections and those that might harm the primary relationship. friendships that consistently belittle the partner or the marriage, relationships that involve significant secrets kept from the spouse, or interactions that completely replace the intimacy that should exist in the primary relationship deserve careful reflection. Emotional balance through these external connections doesn't mean replacing the partner, but complementing the primary relationship with other sources of support and meaning. A healthy marriage recognizes that no one person can meet all another's emotional, intellectual, and social needs. Healthy interdependence, not exclusive dependence, should be the goal. One of the most challenging aspects of many married women's lives is what we might call the secrecy trap. Living a double life, where thoughts, feelings, desires, and sometimes even significant behaviors are hidden from the partner, becomes an invisible prison that drains emotional energy and prevents authentic connections. These secrets can vary greatly in nature and severity. They might be unspoken dissatisfaction with aspects of the relationship, romantic or sexual fantasies with others, regrets about life choices, unfulfilled ambitions, doubts about compatibility with the partner, or in more severe cases, behaviors like emotional or physical infidelity, hidden addictions, or concealed financial problems. Fear is usually the main motivation for keeping these secrets. Fear of judgment. What if he thinks I'm a terrible person for having these feelings? Fear of rejection. What if he doesn't love me anymore when he knows who I really am or what I really think? Fear of conflict. This will cause a huge fight that I'm not prepared to face. Fear of practical consequences. This could lead to the end of our marriage, and I'm not ready to deal with the financial and social implications of a divorce. Behind these specific fears is often a deeper existential fear, the fear of facing the truth about herself and the relationship. Admitting certain feelings or desires can force difficult questions that many prefer to leave unexamined. The consequences of this double life are profound for both individual and couples' emotional health. Keeping significant secrets requires constant vigilance, creating a perpetual state of tension and alertness. The emotional energy that could be directed toward connection and growth is consumed by maintaining appearances and protecting secrets. Authentic intimacy becomes impossible when significant parts of the self are kept hidden. The partner is relating to an edited and incomplete version of the person, not who she truly is. The person keeping the secrets, in turn, never experiences true acceptance, because what isn't revealed can't be truly accepted. It's important to recognize that marital dissatisfaction rarely remains confined to just the relationship between the partners. Its impact ripples outward, like waves in a pond, affecting the entire family system, especially the children, who are keen and sensitive observers of the dynamics between their parents. Even when parents believe they're protecting their children, by hiding their conflicts, children often perceive the underlying tension, emotional distance, interrupted conversations when they walk in, glances loaded with unspoken meanings. They might not intellectually understand what's happening, but they emotionally absorb the home's atmosphere. The emotional effects on children vary depending on factors like age, temperament, and their individual relationships with each parent. Some respond by becoming hypervigilant, taking on the role of the family peacemaker, constantly trying to alleviate tensions they didn't create and can't resolve. Others may develop behavioral problems as a way to divert attention from the couple's issues or to express their own emotional discomfort. The home environment becomes unpredictable and, in some cases, emotionally insecure. Children may develop the belief that intimate relationships are naturally sources of stress and unhappiness, a model they might unconsciously carry into their own future relationships. Resolving marital conflicts is important not only for the partner's well-being, but for the entire family. Children who grow up watching adults navigate relationship challenges constructively and respectfully learn vital communication, problem-solving, and emotional regulation skills that they will carry into their own lives. Given these complex challenges, what strategies can strengthen communication and empathy in the relationship? How can you create a space where both partners can express themselves authentically and be truly heard? Effective communication begins with creating a safe environment where both know they can express thoughts and feelings without immediate judgment, defensiveness, or retaliation. This requires a mutual commitment. Let's try to understand each other before responding. Let's assume the best intentions. Let's recognize that feelings are valid, even when we disagree with perspectives. Specific techniques can help in this process. Reflective listening, where you repeat in your own words what you understood from what your partner said before responding, slows down the conversation and ensures both are truly understanding each other. Using first-person statements, "I feel," instead of "you always," reduces defensiveness and keeps the focus on personal experience rather than assigning blame. Establishing regular times for meaningful conversations, free from distractions, is essential. Many couples find they need to literally schedule this time, not because they don't care, but because modern life is filled with competing demands that easily push couple connection to the background. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the other's feelings, is the cornerstone of any deep relationship. It requires a conscious effort to step outside your own perspective and truly imagine how the world looks through your partner's eyes. What are their fears, hopes, pressures, and needs? What would it be like to be in their position, with their history and experiences? Particularly important is recognizing that men and women often experience marriage in drastically different ways due to societal expectations, conditioning, and, in many cases, unequal distribution of family and household responsibilities. Understanding these differences, not to reinforce them, but to navigate them with respect and consideration, is crucial. Creating a safe space to express feelings and needs also means recognizing that not all conversations will lead to immediate resolutions. Some issues require time, reflection, and multiple conversations. The goal isn't always to resolve, but often simply to understand, to create a shared map of the emotional terrain both are navigating together. For couples facing significant challenges, various types of support are available. Couples therapy, far from being a last resort for relationships on the brink of collapse, can be a proactive and transformative tool. A qualified therapist provides not only a safe space for difficult conversations, but also structure, specific techniques, and impartial perspectives that can help the couple break dysfunctional patterns. Support groups, both in-person and virtual, offer a sense of community and normalization. Discovering that other couples face similar challenges reduces the isolation and shame that often accompany relational difficulties. These groups can also be valuable sources of practical strategies and inspiration. Books, podcasts, couples retreats, and workshops offer additional resources for those committed to strengthening their relationship. The variety of approaches available means that every couple can find resources aligned with their values, specific needs, and communication styles. Self-care and the pursuit of individual mental health are also crucial components of healthy relationships. Each partner needs to take responsibility for their own emotional well-being, not as an alternative to relational work, but as an essential complement to it. Emotionally balanced individuals are much more capable of engaging in relationships constructively and empathetically. We've reached the end of this exploration into the often unspoken truths of married women's lives. We discussed how behind the facade of perfection and happiness that many women present to the world lies a much more complex and multifaceted reality. We saw how societal pressures, traditional expectations, and internal conflicts create tensions that deeply affect marital dynamics. We explored signs such as changes in attention and interest in the partner, defensive behavior, seeking external validation, changes in sexual life, and protective use of digital devices. We analyzed how these behaviors often reflect unmet needs, unexpressed fears, and desires for authentic connection and personal growth. We discussed the duality between public image and private reality, the importance of personal development, and connections outside the primary relationship. We saw how unshared secrets can become emotional prisons and how marital dissatisfaction impacts not just the partners, but the entire family, especially the children. Finally, we explored strategies to strengthen communication and empathy as well as resources available for couples committed to improving their relationship. The most important message I want to leave you with is that recognizing challenges in the relationship is not a sign of failure, but of courage and commitment. Perfect appearances rarely reflect truly healthy relationships. Authentic vulnerability, honest communication, and the willingness to grow individually and as a couple are the true foundations of lasting and satisfying connections. If you recognized yourself in any of the patterns discussed, whether as the person experiencing these feelings or as the partner observing these changes, know that you're not alone. Thousands of couples navigate similar waters every day. The first step to any transformation is the honest recognition of where you are now. I invite you to reflect on your own relationship and behaviors. What patterns do you identify? What needs are not being expressed or met? What important conversations have you been avoiding? What steps, even small ones, could you take toward a more authentic connection? This is an invitation to go beyond the surface, to seek and create relationships based not on appearances or external expectations, but on mutual understanding, respect, and shared growth. The journey may be challenging, but the rewards, a genuine connection, a healthy family environment, and a life aligned with your deepest values, are invaluable. If you found this content valuable, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and activate notifications so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Your comments and experiences are extremely important to us. Share your thoughts below, and let's continue this essential conversation. Thank you for dedicating your time to this important topic. Until our next meeting, where we will continue exploring the truths that transform relationships and lives.